structure to your speech without the use of notes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my utmost honor to present Mrs. Janine Smith.
What is the best gift any of you have ever received? Maybe as a child it was that coveted video game you couldn't wait to get for your birthday. Maybe it was you opened up your mailbox one day and received a financial gift from a relative right when you needed it the most. I would like to argue today, though, that the best gift you've ever received from anybody is the gift of forgiveness. If you have any relationship in your life that has endured for a length of time, if you think back, you'll probably notice that the gift of forgiveness has been passed back and forth between the two of you frequently. You might not look each other in the eye and say, "I forgive you," but that is a characteristic of your relationship. Today I'd like to share with you the 4 promises you make when you forgive somebody sincerely. The first promise you make is that you will not dwell on the incident anymore. The second is that you won't bring up the incident and hold it against the offender. Third, you promise that you won't talk about the event in front of other people. And finally, you promise to let your relationship move forward without letting the event come between the two of you. I learned about these 4 promises through a book called The Peacemaker by Ken Sand. I'm hoping that by sharing the 4 promises with you, that you'll learn to recognize when you've received the gift of forgiveness, and that you will be able to offer this gift of forgiveness when appropriate. So I thought that the best way to walk you through the 4 promises would be to let you in on a situation that happened to me in December. I went to visit my husband's family, and specifically to visit my sister-in-law, Joy. She's 9. She was recovering from a facial reconstructive surgery to repair a double cleft palate that she was born with. And she was confined to the couch, and we thought a little visit would cheer her up. And after we'd played a few games, I went into the kitchen and was wiping off the countertop when, bam, I knocked over a pink bottle of antibiotics. It was the only antibiotics she had, and she needed it every day in order to fight off infection while her face was healing. It was just oozing out over the table. There was nothing I could do. I tried to scoop as much of it back into the bottle as possible. It didn't work. There was still a third of it missing. And after I cleaned up the mess, I went and I talked to my mother-in-law, and I told her what had happened, and I was mortified. I offered to go to the pharmacy and try to pick up more of the antibiotic. So I went. Of course, they don't fill prescriptions without a doctor's order, so I came back empty-handed. And right away, my mother-in-law treated me with complete forgiveness, and she followed these 4 steps. First, she didn't dwell on the incident. Now, I can't read my mother-in-law's mind, but I know that she did this because it is the foundation for all the other following steps. In order to not dwell on an incident, the best thing to do is to have something positive to replace the negative events. If somebody's hurt you, it's really easy to have those thoughts pop up into your mind over and over again. But if you have something positive ready to go to replace those negative thoughts, you can move forward and keep yourself from dwelling on it. The second thing is that she never brought it up again and held it against me. I visited her, I spent many hours with her after this event, but she's never brought it up. Sometimes Clay and I would bring our laundry to her house to get it washed, because it's a lot cheaper than laundromat. And every time I do that, I end up leaving socks all over the floor. And she could easily be like, "Oh, Janine, every time you come here, you're spilling things everywhere." She's never brought it up again. She has wiped the slate clean. I'm starting fresh with her, as if that's the very first time I've ever spilled socks on the floor or medicine on the counter. The third thing is that she does not talk about the event in front of others. And sometimes it can feel like a relief. You go to your friends and say, "Oh, you wouldn't believe what Janine did yesterday." But this is actually a backhanded way of exacting revenge on the offender. It can really damage their reputation if you spread the news of the bad event to others. Depending on the offense and who you tell, it could seriously damage people's careers and their opportunities later on. And it is not a fruit of forgiveness to spread the bad news to others. Now, I do want to distinguish between talking about it to a helpful resource and talking to others in a way that damages reputation. Because my mother-in-law might have had to go to a doctor and say, this is what happened, I need a new prescription. Sometimes you have to go to a counselor or the authorities or an advisor in order to seek help for a situation that has happened to you. But that is a different case than going around telling your friends and hurting somebody's reputation. And the final step of forgiveness is to move forward in the relationship without the burden of the event. You are able to restore trust. You are able to move forward without guilt. And today my mother-in-law and I have a great relationship. I look forward to going to see her. I look forward to speaking with her and sharing our lives together and continuing to get to know one another in the many years ahead. And I hope that by hearing about these 4 promises and 4 steps of forgiveness, that you're able to identify the people in your life who have offered this to you, and to celebrate that forgiveness, because it takes a big love to offer that kind of mercy. And I hope that each of you is also more equipped to offer this kind of forgiveness to others, to those you love. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Janine, for a powerful message. It really spoke to me personally, as I'm sure it did everyone else.